Hello! Thanks for the celebrate, Soph.
You're welcome.
Thanks for the celebrate as well, as far. But yes, sorry for the delay on that. I took a nap on accident, and Tomo curled up under the covers with me, and I was done for. So it couldn't be helped, unfortunately. Very tired, so I feel more refreshed now. How does that make you feel, as far, since you're shouting at me to sleep this whole week? But yes, hello Lux, welcome in! Welcome in! I need to futz with these sound alerts so I can hear them, but just barely. Just barely, and I'm like, oh man, I want to be able to hear. I want to be able to hear all the things, especially with the new one I added. I'm like, I want to be able to hear that when someone triggers it. But yeah, we're back in Ace Attorney tonight, and we're starting Resolve. So we're going to, let's see if we can continue.
Probably not. I feel like we're in this with the trilogy.
I think so too.
Go back.
Just new game. Oh,
Yep,
haha,
right.
haha, haha, haha.
The arrows are real hidden.
There it is. I know, it was just, it kind of blent in with the not the jury, the peanut gallery.
Yeah.
Ooh. New music. New game! But yes, we're starting Ace Attorney, Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, or Great Ace Attorney 2, Resolve. Second game within the Chronicles. And hopefully we might get some answers.
Nope, game's gonna end with more questions.
Nice. Oh no!
Oh.
こうして目の覚めるような澄み渡った青空の下に立つと、ロンドンでのあの日々がまるで嘘のようでございます。懐かしい
Dad.
異国の大帝都。あの方はそれは立派な弁護士になられました。今もきっと彼女の法廷で勇敢に戦っていると存じます。
I'm gonna move for stream chat as I totally
ご
forgot
挨
to
拶
move
が
it.
遅くなって本当に申し訳ございません。帰国より
Somebody's
慌ただ
targeting
しい
her.
日が続いたものでございますから。
Somebody was targeting her.
Oh.
それに一体誰が想像したでしょう
I
か。
honestly don't know if stream can see it or not.
この国に戻ってから
They shouldn't be able
た
to.
った2ヶ月。
Of course, another crime. Mask. Oh!
今日はご報告に参りました。明日、私は大審院の法廷に立ちます。一生にただ一度。
Yeah, it was it looked like it was Miss Brett.
Yep.
Is she dead? Oh!
どうかこのすさとに力を与えてくださいませ。
What is going on?
カズマ様。
Kazuma! Okay, I'm glad it wasn't her dad. I'd be like, oh my god,
Yeah.
her dad!
Huh.
Hmm. August, 8:26 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Defendant's Antechamber. Here I am again after 9 months. The Supreme Court of Judicature of Japan. Oh my god. I feel so nervous. But I must steel my nerves and find a way to compose myself. Dad! Was I him?
You were, but I can take him over
Would
if you
I feel like he might be my assistant, so would you?
want. Oh, good. You're here. It doesn't do for a lawyer to be late.
Oh, yes, good morning, sir.
I hardly recognize you. You've got a fine figure, Counsel.
Also enjoy your look, as far. Have a good day at work.
You look as white as a sheet. And those wide eyes aren't doing you any favors either.
I learned it from the best.
Just like Ryunosuke.
Yeah, look, I learned for the best. Oh dear. The truth is, I'm so incredibly nervous I feel utterly nauseated. I almost wish that I'd never been born.
Goodness. Not the sort of thing a father hopes to hear from his daughter, I must say.
Yujin Mikotoba, professor of medicine at the Imperial Yume University. A man who, earlier in his life, traveled to Great Britain to study the latest advances in forensic medical science. And of course, my brilliant father. Excuse me? Oh. Would I be correct in thinking that you're to be my lawyer in court today? Huh? Oh, yes. Yes, that's right, miss.
I had assumed that Susato had been framed.
Oh, yeah. Well, I want to thank you for agreeing to represent me. I swear on my life. It's a complete fabrication! This whole thing! Rei Membami, born the same year as I, and my greatest friend. Though unusual for a woman of our time, she works at the university research laboratory, helping my father. And sadly, she's the defendant in today's trial, accused of committing a truly awful murder. Are you feeling alright? Since we started talking, you seem, well, to have become a little flushed. Oh my, well, it's just that. You look so gallant and dashing. Sorry? And when I fall under your intense gaze, well, it makes me feel rather bashful.
Ma'am?
Goodness. I don't think she knows. She hasn't realized who I am.
Whoa! Ha 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 ha! It would seem our little plan for this trial is going to work.
Oh. What do you mean, Professor Mikotoba?
Even your best friend can't see through the disguise. I think we can run.
Disguise? Yes. I've never tried dressing this way before, of course. So, I wasn't sure how convincing it would be. But this does make me feel a little relieved, as you say, Father. Father? What? Is that you, Susato? I'm so sorry I didn't say something sooner, Rei. It's just that... No! What are you doing? What's going on? What? That varsity uniform, that varsity cap, that varsity cape, that varsity badge! Look at you!
Place.
Cap! The cap, specifically! Look at it! Look at you! You look from all the world just like a student at the Imperial Yume University. A male student. I think so. Hello, Coke Runner! How are you doing? It's been a hot second, huh? Welcome in! Doing some great Ace Attorney tonight. Here we go.
Hello.
I'm so glad you think so. It means all my preparations have been worthwhile. I woke up at 4 this morning to make a start. But I don't understand. Why are you dressed like that? Well, you see...
It was the only way. The only way you should be permitted into the Supreme Court to take on your defense in this trial.
My defense?
For pulling a Mulan.
Or pulling a Mulan. Never before in my life have I felt so frustrated at having been born into this body. Courts in Japan are barred to women. We're not even allowed to set foot inside the courtroom. Despite the fact that the laws in the land apply to all people, male and female alike. But women are forbidden. Just for today, I'll be leaving my true self at the courtroom door, so that I can act as your lawyer. Oh, Susato, you'd go to such lengths for me. Of course, you're my greatest friend. I just worry that I shan't be the lawyer you deserve. Oh no, I have complete faith in you. Ray. It's so strange though. I mean, you're such an accomplished judicial assistant already. And yet just because you're a woman. What a wretched reason! I mean, why shouldn't you be allowed in court? You're so gallant and dashing. Ray. Please don't look at me like that, with those flushed cheeks and doting eyes. Oh, I'm sorry, it's just... You really do look so dashing. Yes, you mentioned that once or twice.
You should be pleased. It means you look convincing as a man. Oh, that's a compliment.
I am pleased, I think. It certainly helps to bolster my confidence today. Ray, you're managing to put on a brave face in all this, but I can see through it. I've noticed how your shoulders are slumped and how you're trembling ever so slightly. Susto, you do believe me, don't you? Is that the Sophia Stormsmith? It is the Sophia Stormsmith.
He raids with me in 14.
Ah, I see. I see. Hello. Welcome. Oh, is this Pierce?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, Pierce. Welcome in. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the memory database.
I assume he might have found his way here either through Twitter or Arya's Discord.
I see. Well, it's great to have you here. Welcome in. I hope you're doing good tonight. Soph and I are doing funny voices in Ace Attorney tonight.
Don't do British tonight, at least.
Let's hope. Let's hope. Discord, I was curious about the game. Keep it up, I like the voices. Thank you! Thank you. We've had some... This is not... We've had some more interesting voices in the past. We'll see what tonight brings. This game has some eccentric characters, to say the least. I didn't do it. I couldn't have. I mean murder. Of course. You have nothing to worry about. Your conscience is perfectly clean. Isn't that right? Yes. Yes, it is. Perfectly clean. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind about your innocence. Which is why I'll stand by you until the bitter end in this trial. Whatever happens, I'll always be on your side. Because that's what it means to be a defense lawyer. That means so much to me, Susato.
Defendant, counsel. Court is about to begin. Proceed to the courtroom at once. You should go in at once, Ray. If you're late, the judge won't hesitate to pronounce you guilty.
Oh. Stand aside! I don't think I've ever seen her run so fast.
Well, Susato, you've certainly surprised your father. Going to such lengths to be admitted into the courtroom, and with no prior experience of being a lawyer.
There was simply no other way. That's all there is to it. But, Father, you haven't told her, have you? I mean, I'm right in assuming that Ray doesn't know how it came to this.
Yes, quite right. I kept that information from her. It would only worry her if she found out that no other lawyer would agree to take her case. I didn't want to burden her with that.
And is it true? The reason why every other lawyer is refusing to take the case? Is it really because of who the victim was?
We should be making a move now, too. As you know, law isn't my field, but I'll do what I can to support my student.
Thank you, Father. I'm Susatumi Kotoba, a judicial assistant. 8 months ago, I accompanied a student of law on a trip to Great Britain. But 2 months ago, due to unforeseen circumstances, I found myself back in Japan.
I have to retrain myself not to read the blue text.
Yeah. Just for this one, at least.
Yeah.
How many times have I wished that he were here, I wonder? Still, I have no choice now but to steel myself for the trial ahead.
Feel my resolve.
Steel my resolve. Wish me luck, Naruhodo-san.
Good luck.
Just from across the ocean, you hear a "Ganbatte ne."
We now turn to the Orientris Mechanism Cardinal. The judgment of the
You found it, Pierce.
Cardinal.
Thank you for finding that. Thank you for finding that redeem.
It was real quiet on our end, so I wasn't
It
sure.
was. I know. That's why I said I need to go tweak the. Because last time I think I was playing Genshin and there was noise in the background. There was noise in the background and I saw it go and I'm like, oh no, did it not work? And everyone's like, no, it worked. I'm like, well, shit, I just can't hear it then, I guess. I'm like, no, that's so sad. I'm like, I want to be able to hear that. 13th August, 9 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Courtroom 1.
This court is now in session to hear the trial of Ray Membami.
Oh god, this guy. I do his fucking voice.
I mean, since you're the lawyer in this one, I assume I would be him.
Okay, yeah, you want to take him? You want to take Mr. Ouchie?
The prosecution is fully ready to proceed, Your Excellency.
You look just like a male student at the Yuma University, with pink accents and all.
I did wonder how this was going to turn out after all that preamble.
The whole preamble. I do like her though. She looks cute in this outfit, but still have to laugh at the pink accents.
Defense counsel, are you ready? Yes, Your Excellency, we are ready.
Ready.
Ah, yes, counsel. According to your Orientris Mechanic Denley's card now, according to your registration details, your name is, Ryutaro Naruhodo? Is that correct?
Sorry?
Oh, yes, I had come up with a simple male name for you in this little venture. It's not fair to say I simply put down the first name that sprung to mind.
But the next generation of the Naruhodos is starting with the name Ryu. Ryunosuke, Ryuichi, Ryutaro.
Well, counsel.
Yes, that's right. That's me. I mean, yes, I'm Yutaro. He who was vowed to uphold the pride of the great Naruhodo clan.
Ah. It seems Ryutaru may need to consider how better to uphold his manly act first and not overdo it. And those wild, wide eyes aren't doing you any favors either. Just relax and listen.
I know firsthand, though, that there is a guy that does this exact same thing, so this is not what's giving me away, Father.
It helps me do things better.
I'm method acting, Father. No, hold up.
They had a dog barking a lot.
A what?
I heard me came in the front door and the dog
Oh,
went bananas.
I thought you said something about a parking lot, and I'm like...
I'm sitting in a parking lot.
I was like, as far as I'm aware, I thought you lived in a house, but perhaps there's a parking lot nearby.
The acoustics are a lot better out there.
Okay, I see.
A fresh face in this courtroom, if I'm not mistaken. The name Naruhodo, perchance be...
You may be thinking Ryunosuke Naruhodo, apparently in Britain as part of a study program. This is,
His cousin!
that's right. Ryutaro here has been studying in the provinces. It's called the capital for this trial. I assure you, in matters of law, his knowledge rivals that of any Tokyo's preeminent lawyers.
Yep, for sure. Someone who's in the medical field, not the judicial.
I mean, she's been a judicial assistant for that.
She has, yes. Oh, I just mean that, like, him making these claims, who's supposedly not related to this Ryutaro, and is not even in the field of the lawyers and law and stuff. Like, he has no connection there because he's in the medical field. Just being like, ah, yes, you can take my word for it. Any of them.
What a pitiful situation. Having been rejected by every lawyer at the capital, the accused has had to call in a country boy.
How dare you! Sister To's every bit as gallant and dashing as any of you Tokyo attorneys. I won't have you making fun of her.
Ma'am.
Oh, Please be careful, Ray.
What an unrefined tomboy we have here. I wonder, is there a gallant and dashing lawyer up to the challenge of defending you? His wide, skittish eyes are very much suggest that he is not.
Well, the last one that... Okay, I don't know about the last one, but there was one that passed. I did the same exact thing, and, he ended up... Yeah, he ended up getting off. I would say...
Yeah,
Cosmo's there to help him the whole time. Anyway, I had to think about that for a second, because I'm like, no, because we didn't find the murderer. I'm like, oh, that doesn't mean he wasn't declared not guilty.
Right. The whole point of the process is to make it so that your client is found innocent, not
Yeah.
to actually find the guy who did it.
Yeah. I've gotten so used to the whole rigmarole in the original trilogy that I had to think about it. I was like, hold on. I'm so nervous. Now that I'm standing in his shoes, I'm starting to understand why Naruhodo-san Naruhodo-san goes through. Like it or not, eyes are wont to flit. Eyes are wont to flit.
Like prone to, or
Yeah.
such. The case to be heard on this day is a matter of great significance to our national interests. In fact, it would be reasonable to assume that the outcome of this trial may well affect the very future of our empire.
Just like the trial 9 months ago. And yet for proceedings of such importance, we have this unknown yokel by the dock? Dear me.
Perhaps this would be an appropriate moment for me to assess the defense. To determine whether you are sufficiently competent to practice in this courtroom. Do you know where the X button is? 9 months ago, when a certain other Naruhodo stood where you're standing now. This same judge tested him as well. And even though he was just a student at the time, not even of law, he passed the test with flying colors. For a trained and experienced judicial assistant like you, this will be easy. So, counsel, do you consent to answering some simple questions?
Alright, it's time to prove myself. Yes, Your Excellency. But please do make them simple.
Very well. To start with, you will state the name of the victim. Miss Brad.
Oh, that's simple. I couldn't forget that if I tried.
Oh shit, I forgot.
Oh no! Ah.
What's the matter?
Now that I'm standing in his shoes, I'm starting to understand something else Naruhodo-san goes through. Like it or not. Minds are wont to blank!
It's not surprising, really. It's your first time in this position, and in that guise. Even a bright spark like you is bound to flicker and falter a little under the circumstances.
Oh dear. This is a dismal failure.
Don't fret. You need only use the knowledge you've gained as judicial assistant to overcome the problem.
Open the court record with the R&B button. Oh, of course! The I don't even know what I was about to say. Of course,
Record.
the record.
Release the record.
Release the record. The record gods. Of course, the court record. Yes, the answer will be amongst the key information about the case in the court record.
That's right. Just use R to open the court record. Then you need to flip to the people section with R. And don't take too long over it. His Excellency is watching you closely.
Imagine if we got smacked on the hands for taking our time going to the evidence. Hurry it up now, I don't have all day to be here. Alright, check the court record with R. That's where the information I need will be.
I am waiting, counsel.
Wow, let's look at our evidence. Time of death just after 2 p.m. Death is believed to be due to trauma of the victim's lung from a knife blade. Only a single wound was identified. Josiah Brett. Ascertained by examination and witness statements. Fatal hemorrhage. Death would occur within minutes. Extreme meiosis. Pupil constriction was observed in the victim in both eyes. I like that they put the definition there. I appreciate that. Well, at the very least, we could turn to our dad and be like, Dad. Dad, what's this word? What's this medical word?
The best I can figure on the meaning of our character's name here is, means strong masculine dragon. Yes, Mikitoba is dead.
Yep. Ouch, she's dead.
He's about to be.
I'm about to be, yeah. Give you more than ouchie. Miss Giselle Pratt.
Yep.
The name of the victim who lost her life in this case is Mr.
David Beck.
We're off to a great start. I can speak. I get myself so worked up that once I get to like, I'm building up to a certain word within the sentence, and that's once I hit that word, I stumble hardcore. Miss Giselle Brett. Giselle Brett.
A name that will never be forgotten in this courtroom, and the courtrooms of this our country, I'm sure. Correct. And being a member of our empire's judiciary, you will be well aware of the significance of that name. So, let me pose another simple question. As you know, Miss Brett was a visiting student from the Empire of Great Britain. Why then is her name indelibly associated with our own empire's judicial history?
Oh, she's a bitch and killed someone 9 months ago. I mean, she was.
Yeah.
I can't say that for the judge, though.
As it turns out, Iris came over and just killed Brett. Obviously, you won't have forgotten that case from 9 months ago. But if it's proving hard to recall the finer points, everything you need is in court record.
Obviously, I still remember. That was the start of everything. Giselle Brett, behind the woman's student persona, was the face of Queen Victoria. Oh no. Oh no.
Are we
Well-
allowed to say killer?
I think we did, but oh man. I'm making a save. Because I'm trying to remember. I feel like we came to the conclusion that not only did she kill him, but we had the proof, but there was something she was still able to get away scot-free on it, like a what's the word? A loophole or something. Like it was there was something that she was able to, because she started sweating for a while. And then oh, this was back in November. It's been so long. I want to say killer. We'll see. "9 months ago, a visiting professor of medicine at the Imperial University was killed. And the culprit was Giselle Brett.
Yes, she was a killer. I don't know if it's you or me.
I'm not sure. I'll go with it though. At the time, our country had just signed a new treaty with the Empire of Great Britain. And it was in the midst of this delicate diplomatic situation that the incident occurred. An Englishman, Dr. John H. Wilson, was shot dead. I believe he was an associate. Is this the judge? I believe he was an associate of yours, Professor Mikotoba. Maybe it's Susto.
You might be acting. Yes, I was indebted to the man. He'd been my mentor when I went to London. Indeed, it was I who invited him here to Japan as a visiting professor at the university. Naturally, the murder of an Englishman on our soil was a matter of the government wished to resolve rapidly. Indeed it was, which is why a secret trial was conducted here at the Supreme Court. And why would everybody know about it?
I don't know. A student at the Imperial University was arrested on suspicion of murder. A second-year English language student by the name of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Cause of a... With the help of his best friend, a student lawyer, the accused conducted his own defense and exposed a despicable crime committed by Mr. Zale Brett.
Miss Brett eventually admitted to her crime. However, one question about the motive that drove her to take Dr. Wilson's life. She gave no satisfactory answer before the trial reached its conclusion.
Immediately after the trial, the British government brought its consular jurisdiction into play. We are unable to sentence Miss Brett according to our empire's laws. It was decided that she would be removed to Shanghai, China, instead.
Why Shanghai?
There's a British consular there. Correct. I oversaw the negotiations personally.
Let her murder go since she went free. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We murdered English women. Don't worry about it. Where's Naruhodo?
He's making out with Van Zykes.
Yeah, he's busy over in Great Britain, having the time of his life. No Susato to randomly pop up. He's the world is his oyster.
He's busy being an Otome protag.
Yes, he's no, actually, I hope that's not true. I was just about to say, I'm like, he's busy being the dramatical murder protag. I'm like, no, not Ryunosuke, not poor Ryunosuke. He's busy with his learned friend, exactly.
They're learning all sorts of things.
They're
about
learning
each other.
exactly. Knowledge, knowledge is power.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Not the dramatical murder protag. No, I would never do that to Ryunosuke.
Don't even know what that means, and I'm not sure if I should ask.
To put it simply,
a general essence of dramatical murder, but
it's a BL visual novel game, first of all, and it's very gritty, and there's a lot of I'm not even sure if they're bad ends necessarily. Even I think some of the good ends might be rough, but they're very explicit and violent. Question mark. They're a lot. It's a lot, and I haven't even watched a full playthrough of it. It's a lot. Learning the ins and outs of the male body. Yeah, exactly, Asper. They're having a biology lesson. Oh my
learning
goodness.
the outs feels unfortunate. I didn't know he did a fucking dramatical murder video.
Did he do a dramatical murder one?
According to Pierce.
I'm not sure. I don't like.
Doesn't super surprise me, but he did.
Okay, he does Ace Attorney stuff. I know him for that. But he does a lot of Ace Attorney stuff, or at least he did. I'm not sure what he does nowadays, but what I know him for was Ace Attorney.
Oh, they fucking.
They fucking. Then it's apt that you think of a pro ZD line for playing Ace Attorney. Then
I think he mostly does variety stuff, but his main thing is voice acting.
mm-hmm.
So.
Like I said, I've never kept up with him, but I know years ago I watched through a bunch of his stuff on YouTube, just because I'm like, oh man, he does good voices for Ace Attorney, and like at that point, I had no clue that there were any voice actors for any Ace Attorney characters at that point. It was before the anime even came out too, so I'm like, oh yeah, Pro ZD is Ace Attorney.
You learn that Sam Riegel is Phoenix Wright.
You know, I don't even know what the English cast of Phoenix Wright is. I just know the Japanese cast. He's voiced by Yuki Kaji. And I'm like, you know what? That's fine. I'm okay with that. He did a good job.
The only reason I know that Sam Riegel was Phoenix Wright is because Critical Role.
Really?
And every Halloween, they tend to dress up as characters that they've voiced because they're all voice actors.
Yeah.
And one year he dressed up as Phoenix.
Well, alright then. The more you know. I'm sorry, did you read this line?
The date of our transfer to Shanghai was finally settled upon only last week. What? All that remained of our Empire's obligations was to see the woman safely on board a steamship.
Okay.
Why did it take, like, 8.5 months to do that?
Because it's Ace Attorney and we deal with law in the courtroom, not outside of it. So everything is rushed to get to the trial, but everything after that is just normal, normal red tape of a government.
If you don't resolve this entire trial murder in 3 hours, I am going to jump down from here and bludgeon you myself.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else will take 8 months, though.
Yes.
And yet, the very day before her departure, the Englishwoman was killed.
Only the day before.
Sounds like y'all fucked up. That will do. I'm satisfied that the counsel for the defense is sufficiently capable of representing the defendant. Look at a low fucking bar.
Oh. Thank you, Your Excellency, for the first hurdle.
Now, a summary of the incident, if you please. Prosecutor Ouchie?
As is your wish, Your Excellency. The repugnant crime took place on the 11th August in broad daylight. On the outskirts of the imperial capital, under a bright blue sky, at a secluded bathing spot by the sea. The incident occurred inside a small beach hut, erected for bathers to rest or change their clothes. The cause of death was a single stab wound to the posterior abdomen of the pierced victim's lung. An injury which proved fatal. What?
What?
Fatal wounds in my murder case?
Blood in my lungs fatal? Really?
I mean, most of the time. It's not ideal, to be sure.
The consumption.
There were two persons alone together in the beach hut at the time of the victim's death. Miss Brett in her bathing attire, and the accused, Ray Mimbami.
I feel like that's gotta be a pun, but I can't figure out what.
It's probably a Japanese pun.
Accordingly, there can be no doubt of the accused's guilt, especially when we consider she had a powerful motive. The police arrived rapidly at the scene and promptly arrested the young lady.
But if nobody else was there, then why did police?
I don't know. Before we
Good gracious!
before we delve too much deeper into that, we're hitting the top of the hour. Well, not the top of the hour, but top of the stream hour here. So it's time for us to take our hourly ad break to keep pre-roll ads off for you guys. So it's a good time to go take a drink of water, get a good stretch in, go to the bathroom, stuff like that. You know, we'll be right back after a few minutes. So hang tight. Alright, oh, we're dimming out here. Thanks for the celebrate, Soph.
Why does Red Song constitute a mod check? Or is that an emote that I don't understand?
I'm not sure. Maybe it's Nemo? I'm not smart. Even still though, a correction, it was not Raiden song. As far as I'm aware. I'm aware that's just a general battle theme. Whenever you're like gallivanting across the Inazuman countryside, you run across that particular song.
Well, that extraordinary description of events leaves me somewhat lost for words, I must say.
That's certainly true. The prosecution summary was full of words that raised an awful lot of questions. As a lawyer, I really ought to pick up the prosecution counsel on what he said about a powerful motive. That was the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, thank you, Aspar. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I got $5 whole. I could buy chicken nuggets. You're clearly exaggerating. Powerful motive is a blatant overstatement.
What? Is the yokel boy using long words he doesn't fully understand?
I beg your pardon.
Then beg.
No matter. Let us put this to the accused, shall we?
Oh my gosh, that's where you really don't have to. I appreciate everything. I really do, but you don't have to. That's a lot of money.
Then Bami-san, you are a research assistant at the Imperial Yume University, I believe?
Yes, I am. I'm working with Professor Mikotobo in his laboratory at the moment.
No, not this exact one.
Well, in theory, if I weren't in court, I would be in the laboratory right now. I swear. Ask him. He'll tell you.
I can confirm that. The defendant is an excellent assistant with a strong sense of responsibility.
Fascinating to hear. Now another question. Prior to your work with Professor Mikotoba, whose research were you assisting then?
Oh, well, I was studying under John H. Wilson.
Dr. Wilson? This English professor was murdered by Miss Bread 9 minutes ago?
The accused had a deep-seated respect for her former mentor, Dr. Wilson. Is that not true?
How dare you have respect?
Yes. Dr. Wilson was a wonderful man.
Interesting. Then tell the court what deep-seated feelings you had towards the English who killed him.
Well, obviously I was filled with hatred for what she'd done. A powerful hatred. Oh no, Ray! Be careful what you're saying! Ah!
The motive was revenge. Plain and simple, Your Excellency.
Well, it's clearly a trap all along.
How wicked of him to use Ray's undying respect for a former mentor against her like that. I must find out more details, and something we can use to bolster our defense. As a lawyer, I really ought to pick up the prosecution counsel on what he said about— oh, okay. If I may, Prosecutor Aochi.
What do you want, you fresh-faced young yokel student?
I wonder, could you explain, please? You mentioned a bathing spot.
My apologies. Clearly my modernity has confused the poor country bumpkin's simple mind.
Sure.
Bathing spots are the very latest trend in health practices from the West. We are told that bathing in the water of the ocean is curative, therapeutic, and excellent for the skins.
No, that's not what I meant. I was referring to the fact that Miss Brett had, to all intents and purposes, been found guilty of murder. Why would a known criminal have been relaxing by the sea?
For old time's sake, I believe.
Sorry.
Miss Brett was to depart for Shanghai the following day. Her final wish, as it were, was to enjoy a day at our country's wonderful coast. And the British Embassy put extreme pressure on our government to comply, so they're involved in it. Got it.
But on what grounds would we agree to such a request?
Because, as usual, our government is unable to stand up to foreign power.
Things said.
Matters of diplomacy, it seems we don't even have the courage to decline the whims of a known criminal.
Don't look at me, Professor. It is the government who granted permission, not I.
Don't find this
would've done it.
suspicious. Oh right, he was a fucking simp for her, wasn't he?
Yep.
I remember.
In any case, it was decided that with a dedicated detective on duty, could go wrong.
Too much D.
Yep. Story of my life.
But in fact, a murder took place.
I said don't look at me. It was the young student girl who did it, not I.
No one has proved that yet.
I wouldn't provoke the man if you don't need to.
At this stage, I need to gather more information, I think. As a lawyer, I really ought to pick the prosecution counsel on what he said about being alone together. Membami-san. Yes, what is it, Susa? I mean, Naruhodo-san. I'm really starting to wish we made my alias Ryutaro Susato. Please tell the court exactly why you were present at the bathing spot with the victim in the first place. And why you were alone with her. Oh, well, no. That's not true. It wasn't like that at all. Why'd she use an alias? Because girls aren't allowed in the courtroom in Japan. And so her father was like, oh, I came up with the first thing that came to mind and gave you a name. And that happened to be Ryutaro Naruhodo. Naruhodo Ryutaro. There were people present. There were other people present. A detective who was guarding Miss Brett for starters. I was just asked to accompany Miss Brett as a companion. That's all.
But let us be clear. At the moment of her death, you were alone together with the victim in the hut. You and no one else. The truth is, there is only one reason why this young woman accompanied Miss Brett on a bathing sojourn. To scrub her back. It was the accused's last chance to take the victim's life.
No.
because, as we know, the following day would see Miss Brett extradited to the British authorities in Shanghai. And the accused would never have an opportunity to dispatch her again.
Kindly refrain from conjecture, Council.
I do love that Ryunosuke has his little piddly slaps at the beginning of the game,
Mhm.
but Susato just has full-blown slaps from the get-go.
She's already got the comments behind her. She's anxious, but she's like, "We're gonna do it." Versus Ryunosuke's like, "We're gonna do it."
I believe we all have a clear picture of the incident now. Despite her guilt being determined 9 months ago, Miss Brett managed to avoid incarceration, instead continuing her research work at the university. Obviously, over that period, she and Ray would have encountered each other on a number of occasions.
Seeing the murder of the mentor for whom she had such great respect, enjoying such undeserved liberty.
Yes, even if it was only temporary until Miss Brett's extradition to Shanghai. You can only blame Ray for her feelings of anger and resentment.
Poor Ray.
So, Your Excellency, if you'd be so kind as to peruse this exhibit. A photographic print that shows the scene of the crime immediately following the grim incident.
Yes, thank you, Counsel. A tragic image. She was stabbed through that slit in the wall while sitting on the stool.
You know. Call it now. You're calling it now. If you look at it, that's not too far outside the picture, especially with no other slits in the wall. Come on now.
Yeah.
As you can clearly see, there was nowhere within the hut that anyone else could have hidden.
The court will accept this photographic print as evidence.
You know what? The detective was Holmes. Or Sholmes. And Sholmes was not in the hut, but pierced her through the hole in the wall. And revenge for his partner. That's what it was.
Yep.
Ask her hat last time it was alive, it can be a witness. Wouldn't be the first time we asked a bird to take the stand. I threw a what in the wall? Apparently you killed a woman through the wall. The photograph of the crime scene has been entered into the court record.
As I understand it then, the victim and the defendant were alone inside the beach hut at the time. This is deeply troubling, I must say. The finger of guilt points firmly at the defendant.
Well, Your Excellency, naturally the prosecution has much more to its case. We intend to prove the accused's appalling actions beyond all possible contention. To that end, we can confirm that we have multiple witnesses to the crime and damning evidence.
Witnesses? But who?
But how?
One of whom, I might add, is a highly respected police detective.
Oh no. Is it gonna be Hosonaga again?
Probably.
Poor Hosonaga.
I assure you, the testimony of these witnesses will leave no room for doubt.
then, Council, bring forth your witnesses.
I, Takatsushi Ouchi, have been waiting for this moment.
Sorry.
Oh yes, I haven't forgotten. A trial 9 months ago, here in this very courthouse. When that irreverent little student boy utterly humiliated me. Ah, Ryunosuke Naruhoro!
Yes?
This is an insult to the Ouchi family name. Will never be forgotten.
You've become conceited with age, Council. But the old have to stand aside and make way for the new. It's the way of the world. May you never forget that.
Cosmic Cookie. Oh, okay, I see.
Right to the head of a samurai whose top knot has been cut and the bell of cultural enlightenment tolls. Yes, on that fateful day, my former self died.
The start of your own mini Meiji revolution. Are you modernizing as well, Council?
Silence! Since I swore revenge back then, there has been a minor miracle atop my head.
You call that a miracle? Well, I guess if you're balding up there, then perhaps that is a miracle.
A small chinchilla has taken residence on my forehead. Observe the ouchie grow.
I hate it when my ouchies grow.
You see? You see the seed of hope sprouting forth from the barren expanse of my crown?
I think that tiny growth is trying to tell me something. I'm afraid I can't really see. Where's the hope exactly?
I said silence. Today I face another yokel student of the Naruto clan. Well, I will vanquish you. And my victory will be fertilizer for the seed of hope atop my head. You have been warned.
I need this man to stop.
With that, the prosecution calls the witnesses to the stand.
Looks like the stakes are high on both sides in this trial.
Yep, for my best friend to not be found guilty of murder and apparently his seed of growth.
Prosecution and defense each has much to lose. No?
A haircut is hardly comparable to Ray's life.
Yeah.
Oh no! Oh no!
Witnesses, please state your names and occupations for the court.
Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga, Imperial Police Bureau. I'm in disguise, obviously, so I can go undetected.
And I am, well, the next big thing in books. An author renowned throughout the capital, in fact, yes. Soon to be sought out. The satirical I Am a Cat. A sensational success by Soseki Natsume.
Oh my goodness!
Struggling student from the provinces, please. Lean be in awe of me.
I need it.
Only natural as you'll feel nervous in my presence. But all of you, please, relax. Call me Soseki even.
Yes. What on earth is Soseki-san doing here?
Tread carefully, Susato. That other fellow knows you from your time in London, doesn't he? If he exposes you for who you really are, this will be over before it's begun.
Yes. Yes, of course, I know. I presume Soseki-san would have forgotten about me. I could certainly never forget him. Although he does seem to have changed somewhat in the 6 months or so that it has been since I last saw him.
He's not spineless.
And as for Inspector Hosonaga, that amazing outfit is hard to believe. Is that a turtle? It is!
Yep.
Do I have something on my face? Well, your glasses for one. Although they don't seem to be helping you see. Goodness, he hasn't recognized me either. Ah, I suppose this is disguise, is it? I thought that appearing here in clothes I was wearing at the time would make for a more faithful testimony. It is my guiding principle to carry out all testimonies flawlessly.
Well, I can appreciate why an Imperial Police Bureau detective might have been present. What business did a writer such as yourself have being at the scene, Soseki-san?
Ah, well, you see, I'd been asked that day to give a lecture. On the morning of the incident in the Imperial Yume University's Grand Lecture Hall, no less.
At Yume University?
After the lecture, I had a very pleasant conversation with a researcher from the Medical Science Department. The professor over there, in fact.
With my with Professor Megatoba?
Yes, that's right. It was arranged by one of the newspapers. There was some story or other about two former students who'd studied in Great Britain.
Of course, being a renowned author, the press never leave me alone. They secretly spy, snap shots, scribble stories, and scupper my privacy.
Ah.
As you can see, the conversation was written up in this newspaper here. Read it at your leisure, my provincial struggling student friend. I have plenty of copies.
Thank you very much. He practically threw that paper at me. The Soseki Natsume article has been entered into the court record.
Anyway, following my interview with the professor, the lady in question appeared and made a very unexpected announcement. I'm going to stab myself in the back. I should like to go with everyone to see your country's coast.
Those are her words. As I explained before, Sprite was never taken into custody. She continued to work in my laboratory. Under strict surveillance, of course.
At which utterance, the university immediately contacted the government to seek guidance. And the response was, permit Ms. Breck to go as long as a detective accompanies her.
That detective, I am at liberty to divulge, was me, Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga.
Thereby, the entire party departed cordially for the seaside, it seemed.
It was extremely challenging to clear all other members of the public from the vicinity of the beach. But fortunately, I am at peak physical fitness at the moment, so I was able to carry out my duties flawlessly. Oh my! Inspector, you... Well, you do have something on your face now. Ah, how unsightly. I do apologize. Does that mean that you went to the beach too, Father?
No. Fortunately, I had work to finish.
Thank God.
But unfortunately, of course, It meant that as my assistant, Ray was invited to take my place.
Of course, being a renowned author, I didn't like to decline the invitation. Ah, but if only I had, I'd never have seen that awful sight.
I just realized he's wearing a robe now, isn't he?
I think so. Well, like a Japanese robe?
Okay, okay. He's got like a kimono or something over top. I was like, is this man wearing like
Yeah.
just a bathrobe now? Is he could come back to the life of leisure as a celebrity in the eyes of the public now?
Relentlessly racked by remorse and regret.
I think it's just the juxtaposition of like his normal attire
Mm,
with that makes
yeah.
it seem more like a robe than a
Yep, it does.
traditional Japanese clothing. Very well. I must now ask you to present your formal testimony to the court. You will give an account of all that you witnessed on your impromptu excursion to the coast.
Of course, Your Excellency.
Relentlessly racked by remorse and regret, I am.
The witness scene. On the day of the incident, I was ordered on a special surveillance assignment in this disguise.
I just managed to catch that crab when I suddenly heard a caterwaul from behind me.
I ran into the beachhead at once, where I found the pair in question.
Yes, yes, yes! That young girl was astride the Englishwoman, dagger in hand, as she stabbed wildly.
Hmm.
Yep.
I saw blood on the blade. It proved to me that she'd stabbed the victim multiple times. Wasn't she stabbed once?
That's what I thought.
Hold on. A single wound was identified. Single deep stab wound from behind, piercing a lung and resulting in a fatal hemorrhage. Pupil constriction. Hmm. Lies.
Indeed. It does appear from this testimony that both witnesses here present saw it. The very moment of this heinous crime.
They're lies. What?
Now, if you will recall, I promised evidence as well. What phrase did I use again? Ah, yes, that was it. Damning evidence.
Did he? I don't remember him saying that.
I don't know.
What have you there, Consul? So-called fountain pen, is it?
Excuse you, it's a fontaine pen.
Fonta pen.
Fonta pen.
Instant soda.
It writes. Smells like orange. Correct, Your Excellency. I found it at the scene whilst examining the body. It appears that in her dying moments, with her final ounce of strength, the victim clutched a piece of evidence that would positively identify her killer. What?
Your Excellency, if you'd cast your eyes over the photographic print of the crime scene once more.
Oh, goodness me.
I see, that's slit in the wall. Yeah, interesting.
Yes, the victim is clearly grasping something quite deliberately in her hand.
That's right. The fountain pen. And if you would kindly examine the pen, Your Excellency.
Ah. The owner's initials have been engraved in the ebonite barrel.
I swear you're doing this shit again.
Yeah. R.M. Rain and balmy. The initials of the defendant.
No.
Willy Wonka. This fountain pen will be admitted immediately as criminal evidence.
The fountain pen has been entered into the court record.
So, have I admitted anything?
I don't know, have you?
Is there an updated autopsy report?
There might be.
It's not his chick though, so probably not.
Yeah.
Decisive testimony and damning evidence.
Why? No. No, shut up. That pen is not damning evidence, you
No.
idiot.
She's the.
You're gonna pick that up from, like, before they left university. The pen could have been dropped anywhere on the beach.
Well, obviously, we can't use a blood analyzer because not everybody has, multiple people could have the same colored blood. But this pen, there's only one person in the world that has the initials RM, obviously.
Even if there was only one person that had the initials RM, that's not enough to be like, ah, yes, they did it.
Yes.
They have your pen. Okay.
They've stolen it and they paid the price with their life.
That was the true motive.
That was a true motive. The stolen pen.
Nobody takes my pen.
Writes in Fonta, after all.
Delicious.
Please don't eat the paper.
Unless the font is spiked with primordial seawater, then it's less delicious.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, this one's just spiked with curare.
Oh, okay. Probably. Rough Samadhi?
You did it. But even still, it's an M, not an N.
Bam.
There's a bright blue sky outside the courthouse today. Perfect weather to ascribe guilt, I feel.
No? You're actually kind of fucked up.
I don't understand. The prosecutor outed you of 9 months ago had none of this man's poise. Come on,
Counsel
sister.
for the defense, you may begin your cross-examination now.
You can smack him down easy. No biggie.
Naruhodo-san?
Naruhodo. That means... oh, yes! Me!
Is there another Naruhodo in my courtroom? You just hear Ryunosuke just giggling under the table.
Get out from under the table and help me with this shit! Actually, there isn't even a single Naruhodo in your courtroom.
Listen, Ryutaru. Pull yourself together, please.
Alright. I've seen this countless times as a judicial assistant. Find inconsistencies in the witnesses' testimonies to prove that they're lying somehow. That's all there is to it. That's how a real lawyer should... oh my god. That's how a real lawyer would handle a cross-examination. So let's see what I can do! The witness scene. Okay. We can press on these, or we can get straight to the point. I'm not sure where to go with this. Because I feel like if I'm like, every time that I've like had the inkling where I'm like, I know exactly what to do, it smacks me back to where I began. It's like, no, you will behave and you will go down this specific path. I guess we'll look through it. It's not the right button. In that jaunty disguise. Correct. Wait, no. I mean, it wasn't the first time I've worn this swimsuit for a dip in the ocean. It's tried and tested. Do what must be done to keep the Englishwoman under surveillance. Those were my orders this day. And this tried and tested outfit was the answer. Being able to blend flawlessly into a crowd is an important part of a detective's job. I submerge myself in the salty water, leaving only Mr. Turtle floating inconspicuously on the surface. Mr. Turtle loves the water.
Sounds like an excerpt from a children's book.
But there was no need for you to blend into the background on this assignment, really, was there?
That made you late arriving on the scene. I think perhaps you had your priorities wrong.
Ahem. Ahem. Perhaps I shouldn't pursue this line of questioning any further at the moment. Ah! You're describing the victim's scream, presumably, Sasaki-san?
In more literary terms, you might say it was a scream that could have pierced the heavens. Yeah, or the like. Of course, that's just a metaphor. Renowned authors are wont to describing things, so guys really like that word today.
Yeah. Sasaki-san wasn't at all like this in England.
Anyway, I spun around at the noise, and the beach hut immediately fell under my gaze.
Yes, the beach hut. The area is popular with government ministers. Many have seaside retreats there for rest and recuperation. Locals are prohibited from entering the area, so it's always very quiet. The beach hut is a simple structure, erected as a place for people to change and take refuge from the sun.
Although the Englishwoman commandeered the hut for herself. Which meant that I was forced to change into my swimwear on the sand.
I imagine it was rather embarrassing for you.
Well, anyway, I tossed the crab aside and headed for the beach hut at a run.
Yes, the beach hut. The hut on the beach. There's a beach, it has a hut. The beach hut for Kuso.
They just keep saying beach hut over
They
and
do.
over again.
They really do. The curare for Miss Brett, you know, Miss Brett's curare. The curare is specifically made for Miss Brett.
This cure is not a cure at all. Or in more literary terms, I decrabbed and beetled off hutwise.
Oh my god.
The Naruto run.
Naruto before Naruto. It's actually the Soseki run.
Naruto.
Naruto. Wait, but Pear, you don't mean to say. But how could that be? No, you misunderstand. Obviously, I meant the victim and the defendant, Rei Membami-san. Oh. It would have been helpful if you could have just said that from the outset. If you jump to conclusions, you have to expect to fall flat on your face sometimes.
Dear me, pinning your hopes on such an outside chance. Foolish. Very foolish.
It's not your word. You can't say that. It really was an outside chance. I just wish I'd realized that before I said something silly.
So, Inspector, why don't you tell the court how exactly you found the aforementioned pair in the hut?
Well, it was a sorry sight. A really grisly scene. I
There's
por-
no bed.
Not the bears. I parted the Norren curtain hanging in the doorway and stepped inside, only to see the defendant leaning menacingly over the lifeless body of the victim sprawled on the sand. My glasses very nearly cracked at the ominous sight that met my eyes.
How thoroughly appalling.
He doesn't appear to be lying here. Well, Soseki-san, can you confirm what Inspector Hosonaga is saying, I wonder?
Ah, you like a literary man's opinion?
I would like an objective opinion from a witness.
Bad.
Stabbed wildly. That's incorrect though, but we'll see.
I feel like the inspector's statement is the one that we need to hit, though. Because he specifically said multiple times.
Okay, if he specifically said multiple times, then yeah. I couldn't remember who said it, and we've gone through more dialogue. I forgot what the last one was.
Yeah.
Stabbed wildly. You actually saw her do it.
Oh, indeed. Terrible spectre, the terrapin inspector, the bloody torrent, the author's torment.
Eek!
Every sight and every sound is still carved in my melancholy memory. Out of my impression, at least, as a future literary sensation.
Counsel! What on earth was that shrill, effeminate scream?
I haven't hit puberty yet, Your Honor. Or no,
I mean-
Counsel.
Eek.
No, no. What are you insinuating? I'm as manly a Japanese man as you.
It's in my name.
Yes.
I wonder if I might inject you, Soseki-san. Something you said is troubling me. That was my impression, or your words just now, I believe.
So, do you mean to say you're not confident that you really did see what you described? There it is again.
No, I mean, yes. I mean, I know what I saw. My ears didn't deceive me when I heard that scream. It's my eyes didn't deceive me either. I can describe everything I saw vividly. I can publish it all in tomorrow's newspaper serial. That sounds disgusting.
Cereal made out of newspaper?
It sounds as though the next installment of I Am a Cat may take a macabre turn.
I think this is a fool's errand. The more we press your author friend on what he saw, the more entrenched he's going to become.
Digs his heels until he digs his fucking grave. Oh dear. How awkward. Is it the last one? She was stabbed multiple times. How can you be sure of that? Very simply, from the blood on the blade. The blood? When I entered the hut, I saw the defendant holding the blade raised up in the air.
Yes, yes, that's right. I saw it too.
Oh. And I noted that there was blood on the blade already at that point. In other words, the victim had already been stabbed at least once by the time I arrived at the scene.
Yes, yes, that's right. I saw it too.
And the victim was already holding the defendant's fountain pen in her hand too. All of which means I can be sure the victim did not die instantly.
Yes, right. Saw it too.
Maybe a year in... yeah. Maybe a year in London was too much for him. He sounds like he's forgotten how to speak Japanese.
The logic of your argument is sound, at least.
Well, as I said, it is my guiding principle to carry out all testimonies flawlessly. Perhaps it should have been your guiding principle to protect the victim flawlessly. That's just my personal opinion, of course. Ahem, ahem, ahem. Convenient tuberculosis.
Counsel, will refrain from mocking the witness.
I was not mocking, I was stating an opinion. Oh no. So many thoughts whirling around in my head. That's all I can do to stand here, wide-eyed and mute.
Goodness, my dear, you really must try to calm down.
But how am I supposed to find any inconsistency in what these two gentlemen are saying? I don't see why either of them would have any reason to lie.
You must remember, I think, is that witnesses may inadvertently lie at times. They're a little stupid. For various reasons. Misunderstanding, a mistaken observation, a delusion, even...
Ah. A delusion. We're in Genshin Impact.
Child did it.
Child did it. It was the Fatui all along.
No, it was the mint.
It was the what?
The mint.
The mint?
One of the three things that you find literally everywhere.
Oh, yes, sorry. Yes,
It's
indeed.
a stretch, to be fair.
I know, I was like, where are we going with this? Like the mint. Ah, yes, the mint. Indeed.
What's important is that we determine the truth. There's only one sure way to do that.
Yes. With evidence, of course.
Spoken like a true judicial assistant. During the witness testimony, you can use R to pick a piece of evidence to present for consideration. So you need to listen carefully to each statement and compare what's said to the details of the court record. You find some conflicting information that may be the inconsistency you're looking for.
Yes. It's all about inconsistencies.
Once you've identified a witness's statement that appears to conflict with a piece of evidence, present the evidence to the witness with X, and the way ahead will present itself to you, I'm sure.
Yes! Alright then. I'll consider the details of all the evidence in the court record against each statement to find an inconsistency. I hope I'm up to the task.
Don't forget that you can have the witnesses repeat their statements as many times as you like.
I'm sorry, witness, can you say that for me again? Oh, absolutely. I'm sorry, witness, can you please say that for me again? I just said it, but I guess I can say it again for you. I'm sorry, witness, can you say it again? What is wrong with you, child?
Everyone has to start at the beginning, remember? So those wide eyes are quite forgivable. And besides, there's no one else to defend the poor girl.
You're right. I needed to listen to the testimony again from the start.
No, we don't.
Cotterwall?
I just managed to catch crabs.
Blood. What is it that one?
Okay, so he
What?
updated it. I think he updated the statement. Maybe? I don't know, it feels different.
I don't-
could be wrong.
I don't think so, but I also wasn't paying much attention.
Fair enough.
Oh, that's too cute, Iggyari. With that accusatory cry that just welled up from deep inside me, I think I finally understand. Every time Kazuma-sama and Naruhodo-sama stood here at this bench, the stakes have been very, very high indeed.
Both times that we've been in Japanese court, stakes were involved, but in different capacities.
In different capacities, that's true.
But what's the meaning? What's the meaning of that menacing pose, Counsel?
I'm the main character today! I'd like the witness to clarify something for me.
Who, what, where, when, how?
Not you, Soseki-san. This query is directed to Inspector Hosonaga. That's me. In your statement just now, you said that the victim was stabbed multiple times. Yes, that's right. As I said when I entered the hut, the defendant was already standing over the victim, bloody knife in hand, like a murderous demon. And yet, that cannot be. What?
Get to the point, please, Counsel.
This is my time to shine, Your Excellency. Let me take my time. In the post-mortem report, it clearly states that the victim was stabbed one time only.
No.
In other words, Inspector Hosanaga's testimony is clearly flawed. Ugh. And Soseki-san,
But me?
you claim to have seen Membami-san in the throes of stabbing the victim.
Yes, it did. Wildly.
But both you and the inspector confirmed the same point. That there was already blood on the knife that you saw the defendant holding. Yes. And? It's quite simple. We knew the murder weapon was used to stab the victim only once. Therefore, there is no way there could have been blood on the knife if that single stabbing hadn't already occurred.
True. Then what exactly is your contention, Counsel? Are you ever going to tell us?
Can't you... Did you figure it out? Yes, Your Excellency. There's only one logical conclusion. What Soseki-san is in fact not what... Oh my goodness. What Soseki-san in fact saw was not the moment that the defendant stabbed the victim at all, but the moment that the defendant in fact withdrew the blade from the victim's body.
That can't. These.
Not the bees!
Excellent words, Sisto. You exploded at them without objection, and then proceeded to pull them apart systematically. I had to reread that, so I actually understood what he was trying to say when he said exploded. Well, this takes me back. Yes, I seem to remember your cousin staged a scene much like this in the trial 9 months ago. A half-witted child with a half-baked objection attempting to steal the show. You're right. There were certain similarities. One in the family. Except that so-called half-witted child managed to outwit the prosecution, who was only half a head of hair. Slander! My head is quite adequately dressed.
Sure.
So you got some compensation issues. In any case, all this talk of stabbing and withdrawing and multiple wounds. It makes not a jot of difference.
Lies. What? Why not?
You need your brain, young man. I refuse. When the accused first plunged the deadly weapon in the victim, that was the fatal blow.
That's... Not instantaneous fatal blow.
You die when you're stabbed.
Yep, that's definitely what happens. Sholmes. Oh well, Sholmes wasn't stabbed. Never mind. He got a gunshot wound. Never mind.
Not even.
Oh right, it was
Exploded at him.
exploded. And that's true.
And it was mostly just the concussive force. It wasn't even like shrapnel or anything.
Yeah.
Was that, and it was that moment, just as she had withdrawn the blade ready for her next strike, the witnesses saw. The knife was already tainted with blood because the accused had already stabbed the victim.
That's conjecture.
If the stab was already fatal, then why go for another?
Yeah.
All you've successfully shown with your little display is that mustached author is prone to moments of extravagance.
Not incorrect.
Ugh.
I'm in agreement with the prosecution.
I'm not. That's such a. That's. That is such a. What's the word? Oh my god! I literally just said the word. And it's left in my brain. It's a very circumstantial evidence there. Or he's trying to make a point there where it's like, oh, only someone who's going to kill someone can withdraw a blade from someone. Definitely. I don't know. But anyway.
This feels like an Edgeworth trial situation where he picked up the gun on the boat.
Yeah. I agree. I think that perhaps too it could be similar to Edgeworth in that way, but also a little more because let's say for instance, right, your theory that Miss Brett was sitting on the stool and was stabbed through that hole in the wall and fell forward, and Ray happened to be in there as well, right? And Ray is like, "Oh my god, she just fell over," and then sees a knife and is like, "Oh my god, she just got stabbed." Wait. There's not really enough room for the knife to go to the wall. Is there? I don't know.
I don't know how flexible the wall is.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
And it wouldn't be the first time that I went, aha, I see exactly what happened. And the game was like, no.
No. It's like, oh, okay. Anyway, we will ponder on that thought, and you guys can also ponder on that thought here as we go ahead and hit the top of the hour, and we're going to go ahead and take our hourly ad break here to keep pre-roll ads off for you guys. So put your noggins to good use, take a drink of water, get a stretch, whatever you need to do. We'll be right back after a few minutes here. That was the wrong one. You all witnessed
Okay.
nothing. You all saw nothing.
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
Uh-huh, exactly. Exactly. Thank you for the celebrate, so.
You're welcome.
Okay. Let's see if I can do it here.
If the defendant was seen wielding the blade at all, that is sufficient grounds for her actions to be viewed with suspicion.
Thanks for the celebrate as well, as far. Me. Oh, what's happened? My model has drifted. And suddenly I'm just like, oh, look what's up there. Wonderful. How we drifted so far. You did not see anything. Exactly, you did not see anything at all. This is all that you saw. But if she was withdrawing the blade.
Then we are back where we started.
Sorry.
Consider this, young yokel boy. If the student girl is innocent as you claim, then why would she have pulled the blade from the victim? And with the demon's cold-blooded composure, too.
I feel
Hey,
like
you're making shit up.
you're what's the word? You're projecting. You are painting a picture and you're making it fit your agenda. Stop it.
The prosecution demands an explanation, and it had better be good.
Maybe because she works in the medical field, and not only that, but she saw someone stabbed and wanted to try to help them? Why did Ray pull out the knife?
Oh, yes. Going for the jugular.
No, actually, they went for the lung, Dad. But... Hmm? What does Father mean by that?
The court hear your answer then, counsel.
Your answer. I'm suddenly slightly British.
My brain is combining counsel and answer. And I'm sure.
The truth is, I don't really know. But I had to come up with a plausible reason here. We don't have a case. The reason why the defendant pulled a knife blade out from the victim's body was surely so she could save her life. According to the post-mortem report, the victim's death was not instant. That's correct. It's thought she would have remained unconscious for a short while after sustaining the injury.
Indeed, giving her the time to take a hold of this piece of evidence that clearly indicates her killer.
The point is, being a medical research assistant, Membami-san was compelled to act when faced with the wounded victim. Instinctively, she pulled the blade out in an attempt to save Miss Britt's life. Dad, not you too!
Did you hear that, Your Excellency?
Well, it's just as plausible as your particular scene of events.
It would seem this is the best we can expect of this young yokel.
Indeed.
It's just me, or does it suddenly feel much colder in here? Your Excellency, if I may.
Speak, witness.
I would like another opportunity to testify. In respect to the slipshod assertion just put forward by the Yokel Defense Council, I mean. Slipshod?
An excellent idea, Inspector. Our young yokel hopeful has a modicum of knowledge when it comes to the law, it seems. But in matters of medicine, he appears to possess not one iota of common sense.
Very well, Inspector. I'll permit your request. You'll testify again before the court, and subject to the defense counsel's assertion.
Yes, sir. I will do so flawlessly. Forensics Medicine Primer. Pulling a blade from a wound without thinking can cause heavy bleeding. It's basic knowledge that any medical research assistant with an ounce of sense ought to know. In other words, there's no good reason why the defendant would have tried to pull the knife from the victim. Let's not forget that the young student did have a motive for killing the victim. The man the victim murdered 9 months ago, Dr. Wilson, was the defendant's highly respected mentor. Is what you just said true, Inspector? Could pulling a knife from a wound really cause the wound to bleed heavily? Yes. Think of the weapon itself as a stopper in the wound that prevents excessive blood loss. Until the doctor is ready to provide proper treatment, that stopper shouldn't be removed. Oh, I see.
This is why yokels should stay on the farm. Even a quack from some obscure mountain village would have such basic knowledge. Anyone who's ever given someone a little poke with a knife and pulled it out again knows it. How can you do that?
Okay. Oh. Well, I've never stabbed anyone, you see. Or pulled a blade out of a wound, so...
Of course you haven't. I didn't bring you up to behave like a bandit.
Father, is it true what they're telling me?
Yes. It's basic remedial knowledge for medics. Ray would have been well aware of it. Sure to claim ignorance of such fundamentals, that would prove fatal in many ways.
But then, why would Ray have done it? Because she had pulled out that knife in full knowledge that it would be fatal for Miss Brett?
I don't know.
Ray never once mentioned anything about the knife to me. It seems almost impossible to believe, but... did my friend actually have?
Susto,
Yes.
pull yourself together. We mustn't lose sight of why we're here.
Ah.
Counsel, it's time for your cross-examination.
Oh. Yes, Your Excellency.
However, I must warn you that if your cross-examination fails to identify any issue with the established facts, I will be moving to my adjudication immediately afterwards.
Okay. I understand. Believing in your clients and fighting for their cause until the bitter end. I knew it would be hard, but I had no idea it would be this hard. Okay. Oh, what do we have? Glass of wine. Pen clutched in hand. Use a suitcase. Dress stand. That darn purse. I don't know if there's much to really gather from here yet, though. There's a lot of footsteps, especially with like... well, I guess you could... well... Those aren't footsteps of heeled shoes. I'm not sure if that's gonna make. I'm not sure if they're paying that much attention to the details with that, but that's a flat-footed shoe footprint.
And
Look, a new cat. Why does it look like it's cracked? Oh, was the camera taking it cracked?
good day.
Hmm. Well, I can zoom in. I can't comment on it though. I don't think so. Nope. I just have a lovely little magnifying glass. Thanks. Now with the victim, found grasped in her hand. It carries the initials RM. I can't even look at it. Okay. Ooh, that thing, heavy bleeding. It's basic knowledge. In other words, there's no reason why the defendant would have tried to pull a knife from the victim. Here, let's... You say doing it without thinking could be a problem. Does that mean that if you used due care and attention, it would be alright? I wouldn't have thought this needed spelling out, really, but... The blade is like a stopper in the wound. Remove it and a serious hemorrhage will occur. In other words, a medic would need to be present before any attempt was made to withdraw the blade. Doing it without thinking would be madness. You just can't do it. Oh, well, thank you for such a thorough explanation.
You see, Counsel, when you act without thinking, the result is a bloodbath.
Uh-huh.
Good thing there was a medic present, I guess. Back to the witness testimony, please.
Oh, I see your attorney's badge, Aspar. Thanks for pelting me with it. In that case, there's an obvious explanation here. Which is? Clearly, the defendant Rei Membami-san does not possess an ounce of sense. Shit.
No.
What do you think about that, Professor Mikotoba?
I'm not sure that you should be labeling your best friend as lacking common sense.
Well, I thought it would be better than labeling her as a murderer.
I don't know, young people today. If that's friendship, I don't understand it.
Careful, Counsel. A lack of common sense can be a very dangerous thing.
You really have to be hitting that against the palm of your hand.
It doesn't feel comfortable.
Oh dear. That recoiled on me rather badly.
That's life, I'm afraid. A lesson everyone must learn.
Hopefully you can see now that this is really basic medical knowledge. Being involved in medical research, Membami-san would certainly have been aware of it. But the defendant had suddenly encountered someone she knew lying on the ground, bleeding to death. The sight could have shocked her delicate sensibilities, causing her to remove the blade inadvertently. I really don't think inadvertent actions can explain this. The woman is a medical research assistant. I can't imagine she would behave so irrationally. Oh, but irrational behavior is a woman's prerogative, isn't it? Oh dear. You have a lot to learn about women. Only a small-minded man could have such bigoted views. Oh dear. Perhaps I'm letting my male persona take hold a little too much. Well, have I managed to convey the basics now? That should cover the medical side of the argument. the last piece? That's the last line. Whatever the motive, it just isn't in Membami-san's nature to do something so awful. But she had both motive and opportunity. That's very hard to argue against. But you don't know the defendant.
And you, counsel, do not appear to know the law.
Yes. Evidence is the only way to convince the court of your argument, not feelings.
If it's fledgling to defend her, I would almost say I pity the accused.
So do I.
Inspector, you'll reiterate your point about the defendant's motive, please.
Yes. Miss Brett was in many ways a sworn enemy of Membami-san. Well, yes, that's true. Dr. Wilson recognized Membami-san's talent and offered her the position of assistant, despite her being a woman. She was extremely grateful to him. Yes, the Englishman appears to be a very broad-minded individual.
Dr. Wilson had no time for outdated traditions. He met with opposition, of course, but he believed firmly in Membami-san's abilities.
Clearly the defendant was in the man's debt, which only serves to prove my point. This is hopeless! I can't find a single crack in this testimony anywhere. If Ray knew what withdrawing the blade from... Oh, if Ray knew that withdrawing the knife from the wound would threaten Miss Brett's life further. I just can't think of any way to explain why she did it.
So, it's at times like these, when it's especially important to remember the fundamentals.
The fundamentals?
Evidence is what counts in the courtroom, isn't it?
Of course! But I've been through the court record dozens of times already.
I think perhaps you're forgetting something, though. You needn't take the evidence at face value. You can and must examine it in greater detail, too.
Ah,
I realize this is your first time playing the role of lawyer in the courtroom. So if you need reminding of the rudiments, you need only ask. I'll do my very best to help.
examine the evidence in the court record. It's an idea, certainly. What should I do? I know what to do. Come to think of it, Kazuma-sama and Naruhodo-sama are always turning evidence over and over in their hands. Yes, I need to examine things in greater detail with A.
Ah, by the look in your eyes, I see it's coming back to you. Go through the court record again and have a thorough look at everything. You may just find a clue.
Yes, I'll do it straight away. What am I supposed to look at?
Presumably something you can flip over.
Presumably. I swear that they... I swear! I fucking swear! There was no magnifying glass on that earlier because I was like, oh, that's strange, I can't look at the pen. I can't flip it over. I guess it is what it is, so we're moving on. Bitch. This fucking game. The RM initials are very clearly engraved here.
And the fact that Miss Brett was clinging to this pen in her dying moments is very clearly a message, too.
To identify her killer, you mean?
I don't think there can be any doubt that this is a key piece of evidence in this case.
If we take out the pen's lid... Oh, there's a seal. There's some sort of emblem here. Look. Skill issue says the game after reading the game, right? But it isn't a Yume University one.
It must belong to some other organization, I suppose. A business of some kind. But that would seem to imply that the pen doesn't in fact belong to Ray.
The details of the fountain pen have been updated in the court record. Hmm. Now let's unscrew the barrel, shall we? Empty, or is there something in there? This must be the little reservoir that holds the ink.
Yes, you fill by drawing the ink from a bottle up through the nib.
Is something wrong, Father?
Just that there doesn't actually appear to be any ink in here, that's all.
Oh yes, you're right. It's pretty much empty. All the font has been sucked dry. Well, it could be on the verge of running out, I suppose. The details of the fountain pen have been updated in the court record. Have I looked at everything? Are you happy now, game? Are you happy now that I've looked at the more opportune time? Okay, so if the pen is what we looked at. A motive. Where's the pen come into play with this? Oh my god!
Hmm?
This was not a three-dimensional object a few minutes ago.
Oh. Yeah.
Rakus, England, returnees, tell all. This is the interview you and Soseki-san is. Is it, Father? It looks as though it was quite an exchange.
Yes, he became a little over-animated when he was talking about his time in England. The photographer managed to capture the moment his hand karate chopped me on the neck.
I do hope you weren't hurt.
I'm dead.
No, Dad. This is the newspaper from Soseki-san. There seems to be an important article on the back page as well. Exclusive! Deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Laboratory. From Yume's Medical Research? Father, isn't that your lab?
What the? Let me see that. The poison's been stolen.
It's this morning's paper that Soseki-san gave us. Are you saying you didn't know?
As embarrassing as that is for the head of the laboratory, I've not heard any such thing. Where on earth could the reporter have gleaned this information?
Come to think of it, there was no article mentioning this story in our paper this morning, was there?
The highly toxic poison we've been working on in the strictest confidence. I'd put Ray in charge of the project.
Ray! She's managing it.
If what's written here is true, it means that she tried to hide the theft from me. And more of the details were leaked somehow.
I don't believe it.
You need to read this article very carefully.
The article about the poison has been entered into the court record.
Poison for Cusco.
Cusco's poison. Okay. We looked at our evidence here. Exclusive! Deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Lab. Research, not research. Research, not Following a lecture at Yume by Soseki Natsume on 11th August, it's come to light that a very disturbing incident took place. A deadly poison being secretly developed in the university's forensic science laboratory was stolen. Deadly in tiny quantities! Even the smallest amount entering the body, either via the mouth or via a wound from a poison-laced blade, would prove fatal in minutes. Current methods cannot detect the newly developed chemical. The university would have to be consulted. Why is the poison being developed? Onset of symptoms occurred in minutes, starting with impaired breathing and ending with acute contraction of the pupils prior to death. Such symptoms would be suggestive of this toxin. It's apparently an entirely new synthesis of alkaloids and rumored to be commissioned by the military. Kurore!
It was in the pen. Dollars to dimes.
Yeah, that's so.
Her pupils were dilated.
They were, weren't they? Hmm. Trying to think. Well, I'll check out the. I'm probably getting too far ahead of myself here, but the pen could potentially fit through the hole in the wall. She probably ripped it out of her back and was like, "Ah, my goodness, why would there be a bloody blade?" We don't even have it as evidence. What?
For some reason there was a gun. In the first.
Oh, there
last
is.
time.
That's true. Just hanging out. What did we learn from this, though? As to go on and medical research wants to know. The words are no good reason for the defendant to try to pull the knife from the victim. Did it have a motive? Only a single one was identified. Very small amount of liquid still inside the ink reservoir. I'm gonna say by mouth or wound. Yeah, via the mouth or via wound. Proof fatal. I don't know how to apply this information here though. In other words, there's no good reason why the defendant would have tried to pull the knife from the victim. This feels like a standout statement. But I don't know what to present here. In other words, there's no good reason why the defendant would have tried to pull the knife from the victim. I feel like it's a point A, point C situation again too. Cause it'd be like, if we presented this new idea, they'd be like, where the fuck did this come from? And sometimes it will lend hand to that where it's like, let me explain myself, but more often than not, it doesn't. It makes you take the long way around to get to the point and be like, my theory is that she believed her to have been poisoned with this poison because it was missing, and the way that she was acting is indicative of this particular poison. So, but I don't think we're gonna be able to do that. So I'm at a loss of what to do for step B. And I'm not sure what that is.
Yeah, because I don't think we have anything to go off.
Not really. Okay, let's make a save. We'll see. You need to follow the path they made, regardless of how obtuse or inefficient it is. Yep. Okay. I'm gonna go with the paper. And try.
Oh,
No. There is one possibility. One very good reason why the defendant might have decided to withdraw the knife from the victim's wound. What?
the yokel not only has a poor grasp of the law, but is also a poor loser.
Shut your mouth. I'm speaking.
Tell us then, what possibility do you think you've identified?
It's here. In this newspaper article. An article about a deadly poison has been stolen from a laboratory at the Imperial Yume
The victim perished from a stab wound. Poison has no relevance to this case.
But
Prosecutor Ouchie, you will let the defendant speak.
thank you.
But a newspaper article. The court cannot rely on kind of a hearsay those wretched publications carry. Counsel for the defense. I'm going to need some tangible basis for your claim. Will indicate to the court precisely what part of the newspaper article mentioned affirms your assertion. Your Excellency.
Yes, of course. Thank you. Ray would never have done something to further endanger Miss Brett's life without just cause. The reason why the defendant pulled a knife from the victim's body is explained in the article where it says... Oh dear. Thank you. It was the last page, wasn't it?
What are you looking for?
I think what I want is the symptoms, so... The reason why the defendant pulled a knife from the victim's body is explained in the article where it says, because why would Ray decide to just pull it out from her body if she didn't see the symptoms, right? That's my thoughts, at least.
I'd agree.
According to the article, the development of the poison was requested by the military.
Yes, a troubling revelation indeed.
Oh, it's very worrying.
And yet even more worrying.
Don't tell me this is incorrect.
I don't think the options are in order. It's how this yokel is trying to manipulate the court with nothing more than rumors.
Ah!
I don't think the reason is being developed is the last page. Maybe it is.
It is. It just, they didn't...
Oh.
They decided to skirt over the first half that had the biggest chunk in the paragraph for the last particular sentence. Because why wouldn't they? But I feel sure Ray had a good reason for her actions. And I feel sure the explanation is somewhere in this newspaper article.
By reading the article again.
Dad! Father!
It could be another. We actually had an A, B, C, D situation.
Yes. The reason why the defendant pulled a knife from the victim's body is explained in the article where it says... Deadly in tiny quantities? I don't know, man. article reveals the following property about the poison in question. When the toxin enters the body on a knife laced with the poison, it's rapidly absorbed and causes death in minutes. Are you suggesting? If the knife used to attack Miss Brett was laced with this very poison, it would explain why the defendant, Minbami-san, would have withdrawn the blade as soon as possible. Yes, the truth is, it was an attempt to stop the poison from entering the victim's body. What?
It's complete and utter nonsense.
Not at all. The defendant withdrew the knife blade from the victim's body not to accelerate the woman's demise, but to save her life. And the prosecution cannot deny the possibility.
Have you not read the post-mortem report? The cause of death was hemorrhage.
Have you not read the post-mortem report? She also had constricted pupils.
But poison appears nowhere in the document.
Well, that's because acting quickly by removing the blade, the defendant prevented the poison from taking hold.
Oh, please, this is clearly desperation. The weasel's last. Breaking the wind.
Okay.
Gross. Poison has nothing whatsoever to do with this case, as I believe the defense is well aware.
Ouchie, think back 9 months, please. Thank you.
We have no proof that the information in this wretched newspaper article is all reliable anyway.
In that situation, what the student should have done is wait for medical assistance to arrive. But instead, you claimed she suspected poisoning and took the potential lethal decision to remove the blade. She must have had a strong reason for her suspicions, and where the argument makes no sense.
Exactly. Well put, Inspector. On what grounds did she do it, Yoko?
Why did Ray suspect that stolen poison was involved? Gosh damn it. If you want grounds, I'll give you grounds. Coffee grounds.
Oh,
What?
You can't possibly.
from your expression, Counsel, it would appear those are not empty words. Naturally, as you stand in this courtroom as a lawyer, you must be aware that words alone, and you are not, are of no value in our modern justice system. The court demands evidence.
Yes, Your Excellency. I'm well aware of that. I've seen it many times. From my place at his side in the Old Bailey.
In that case, Counsel, present proof to the court now. What evidence demonstrates a clear link between this case and the poison in the newspaper article?
I would ask the court to refer to the notes section on the post-mortem report, which reads, "Extreme meiosis, pupil constriction, was observed in the victim." Ah. Clearly being a yokel with no knowledge of forensic science, I have no idea. So please, do tell me. Presumably, the fact that this condition of the victim was noted in the post-mortem report means that it's an unusual symptom of death.
Well,
Under normal circumstances, the pupils dilate when someone dies. If there was extreme constriction instead, that's most certainly unusual. Yes.
what are you doing, you yokel detective?
In the newspaper article, there's the following information about the stolen poison. Onset of symptoms occur in minutes, ending with acute contraction of the pupils prior to death.
What?
If the defendant, upon seeing the victim stabbed in the back, happened to notice that the pupils of Miss Brett's eyes had constricted severely,
Yes, as a medical research assistant, she would have had suspected poison immediately, without doubt.
Anger.
Prosecutor Ouchie, I think you'll agree. This is very compelling evidence.
You, yokel student and yokel professor.
I believe the defense has expertly demonstrated a credible reason for the defendant's actions.
No.
Yujin Mikotoba? Yes, Your Excellency? I believe you are best placed here to confirm or deny the veracity of the defense counsel's argument. To tell the court the truth about the details reported in this newspaper, please. It pains me to have to admit it, but I'm afraid I don't know. You don't know? The toxin was kept under lock and key in my laboratory, certainly, but I was unaware of any theft. Do you mean to tell the court that the reports of this theft are unfounded?
Or unreported to me.
No, Your Excellency. Without returning to the laboratory to investigate myself, I couldn't say.
Listen to the bumbling academic.
Yeah, because you're bumbling for having to go check something, make sure it's reality, versus coming up with something on the spot.
Yep.
Unaware of the theft of secret state research from his own workplace until he reads of it in the newspaper.
I take full responsibility for the incompetence of my supervision.
Father.
A bit of a situation for a university professor. You should have more control over your students rather than allowing them off on killing sprees.
Well, I also had a criminal in my midst, unfortunately. That's totally unfounded. None of this is Professor Mikotoba's fault. It's all my fault. Ray.
Mommy-san, you stand accused here. Outbursts like this will not be tolerated.
But it was me. I was the one who noticed that the potion we were developing had been stolen that day.
What?
So you knew. I'd been placed in charge of overseeing the project. It was the day that the professor and Soseki-san were interviewed together for the newspaper. That's when I noticed that some of the poison was missing. Just a tiny amount it was.
Why didn't you let me know immediately?
I was scared. The whole project was supposed to be confidential, but some of the toxin had somehow been taken. So, I decided to try to get it back before anyone else found out. Because I had a very good idea who the thief was. The thief? You don't mean... Yes, of course. It was that dainty Englishwoman.
Is Giselle Brett?
That's why I decided to join the little group of people going to the seaside. Inside the beach hut, I confronted Miss Brett. But she just sat on a stool at the back of the hut, smiling sweetly at me as she knew she was untouchable. I know it was you who stole the poison! Well now, whatever do you mean? And then, she suddenly got to her feet, before falling to her knees in front of me and then collapsing on the floor. That's when I saw the knife in her back. I couldn't understand what had just happened. And then, a moment later, I was seized with fear. The pupils of her eyes they'd shrunk to tiny pinpoints.
I don't believe it. In other words, you realize that the victim was suffering the effects of the stolen poison.
My mind started racing. I hadn't seen anything past Miss Brett's lips whilst I've been with her. Which left only one possible way for the poison to enter her body. On the bladed knife in her back.
That train of thought was what spurred you to withdraw the blade.
Yes. If the amount that had been entered into her bloodstream was small enough, she might still have a chance. That's what I hoped. Really, I'm so sorry for staying silent all this time.
Pretend I, the truth of what happened is not something that can be overlooked. You got mad at her for talking.
Yeah?
However, I duly noted the courage with which you confessed in the end.
Thank you, Your Excellency. It's barely perceptible, but I do think the balance has shifted a little here. In this courtroom now.
Damn.
Your Excellency, do not be deceived. The victim just collapsed before your eyes, you say? Well, then, Bunny-san, if that is the case, perhaps you could explain how Miss Brett came to be stabbed.
Well,
You have no answer because the simple truth is that you stabbed the victim motivated by revenge.
but you have no conclusive evidence to prove that assertion, do you?
Oh, I have evidence. And it is very much conclusive.
What is it now?
What is it, damn it?
What's the prosecution counsel up to? It was brief, but he hesitated for a moment there. Almost sure of it.
You will produce the aforementioned evidence at once, Prosecutor Algie.
Perhaps some praise is due, young yokel student.
What?
I had imagined there would be no need for me to submit this evidence.
But you brought this on yourself.
Oh. There goes my headphones. Hold on a second.
Womp womp.
I don't know what it is with me and almost every single piece of technology that I have, but it'll randomly just like turn off and turn on. My computer monitors do it, my headphones do it, both of my TVs have done it, my old phone used to do it. I don't know why. I don't know why I cause things to turn off and turn on again. What the? Could a more damning shot exist? The cruelty in the air on that beach is almost palpable. Or is that him saying it?
Nothing has hurt it in any way.
Oh my god. Shaking my head. Shaking my head.
This evidence, more than any other, reveals the true extent of the accused murderous nature. Does it? But shows the precise moment that Menbame-san plunged a dagger into the victim's back.
No! That's not true! No! I don't believe it.
Order, order, order! Counsel for the defense. Was it you who was responsible for that shrill scream that just pierced my courtroom?
Perhaps his voice is yet to break? These yokels are slow of mind and slow to mature.
I'll show you who's slow to mature.
Careful now. Suzuko is starting to show her face here. It is often said that a picture is worth 1,000 words, and here we have ample proof. There's something weird about that photo, but I just noticed. The court will accept this extremely cogent photographic print as evidence.
The incriminating photograph has been entered into the court record. Oh! Oh,
Did you see it?
the crack.
Yep.
Oh. Ho 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 ho. Interesting.
But I don't know why that's important. Like, I feel like it's gonna be, but...
Yeah, I feel like it probably ties into having another person be there, right?
Yeah.
And then it ties into, well, the photograph that was printed in the newspaper also had the same exact crack.
Right.
So we tie it back to whoever was the photographer during the interview, you know? That's probably where it is, but we've got to put a pin in that, unfortunately, I think. Also, I like...
It's gonna be like the broken lamp.
Oh my god, I swear, if it's like the broken lamp, I'm gonna be so upset. Broken glass is apparently not evidence in Ace Attorney anymore. But yeah, I like Mimbami's design. She looks really cute. She's like a mix of a mix of Mia and Maya. And there's something about, I don't know, there's something about her that just looks slightly different. I'm like, oh, she looks so cute. Okay. Real quick though, we are hitting the top of the hour, so we need to go ahead and take our early ad break so that we can keep pre-roll ads off for you guys. So if you'll hang tight here just a second, we will be right back after a few minutes. Alrighty. Thanks for the celebrity. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Putting our thoughts about the photograph aside for a later date. I can't believe you had a photograph like that up his sleeve this entire time. It's such a stark image. I'm genuinely lost for words. Thanks for the celebrate as well as far. And the attorney's badge. Wait a minute. I don't understand. How did you... I mean, who took that photograph? Ray.
That's of no importance here. Stop trying to divert attention.
Oh. That's an absurd thing to say. It's crucially important. Whoever took this photographic print was a witness to Miss Brett's death. The court must be allowed to hear this person's testimony.
I uphold the defense's demand. Prosecution will reveal the identity of the person responsible for taking this photograph at once.
Well, I'm afraid I can't do that.
Pardon?
You see, this print arrived at the Imperial Palace Bureau headquarters by express post yesterday. There's nothing to indicate the sender's name or address. The provenance of the print is unknown.
Goodness.
Are we to understand then, Counsel, that in full knowledge of the fact that this photograph has the murkiest of origins, you nevertheless believe it fit for submission as evidence to the Supreme Court?
When you first produced that print before, I noticed that you hesitated for a brief moment. Because you knew that it wasn't completely reliable evidence, didn't you?
Silence, you local student and blabbering professor. What matters is the blatant truth that this print so eloquently expresses.
But the defendant has already admitted to pulling the blade from the wound. Clearly, this isn't the moment where the knife was plunged into the victim's back, but...
The moment you have withdrawn? Don't waste this court's time with your ramblings.
Indeed. Without knowledge of who produced this print, we have no means of verifying the claim. And seeing its captures is without doubt the most compelling evidence presented to the court. If the defense is unable to shed any further light on the matter, I believe the conclusion is clear.
Oh no.
Susatel, this is the time for you to fight. If what you've established so far is true, then there can be no doubt. This photograph shows the moment that Ray withdrew the blade from the victim.
Yes. We just need to prove that somehow.
You have plenty of time to rue your defeat on the slow train back to the provinces. And to rue the day you came up against Takasushi Ouchi in the court of law.
I can't determine who took this photograph, and the trial is going to come to an end. There must be a clue somewhere. There must be some way of working out who took it.
I wonder.
I wonder what that might be.
Will Counsel?
Your Excellency, the burning question is who took that photograph. And the truth is...
I have no idea.
I have an answer, not the answer. I want to make it saved, just because I don't want them to do the reverse psychology of like, I don't know, because it doesn't say who took the photo for this newspaper, you know?
Yeah.
This isn't about whether I can or can't come up with the answer now. I simply have to. The identity of the person who took this dramatic photographic print is I assure you, something the defense can and will reveal.
What? No, you can't possibly. But as you so boldly claim that you can, please do enlighten us.
Unfortunately, I'm unable to present a name.
How utterly underwhelming.
However, I am able to present evidence. The defense has a piece of evidence that reveals important details about the photographer's identity.
What?
Very well then, counsel. Present your proof to the court. Which piece of evidence do you claim reveals something about the identity of the mystery photographer?
Just making sure it doesn't want me to look at this again and specifically be like, oh my gosh, look, there's a crack on that picture there.
What is that? The newspaper again? Marcus England attorneys tell all.
It's not the headline that's relevant here, Your Excellency. It's the photograph. If you look at it closely, you'll notice that there are some white lines on the right-hand side.
Ah, yes, indeed. They had already caught my eye, as it happens.
What of it? A shadow of some kind, presumably? From the branches of a tree or the like.
Fucking shadow, my friend. There are no trees growing inside my laboratory at the university, I can assure you. What if they snuck in? When the poison was getting stolen?
The trees stole the poison. Now, if you look closely at this photograph,
Good gracious. Yes, exactly the same pattern of... Nope. I assumed that the judge just kept
I
going
know,
with it.
I assume so too. Yes, exactly the same pattern of lines is present on this photograph too.
Well, shut up. That tells us nothing. Yes, it's a shadow of some kind, definitely, from the branches of a tree.
The same exact line patterns. There wouldn't be any trees growing inside a hut at the beach council.
At the beach hut. Nyarf.
What's quite remarkable about it is that the two patterns are absolutely identical. How could such an extraordinary similarity have transpired?
Golly, I wonder.
The curious matching pattern that appears on both photographic prints is a result of a camera defect.
Not tree branches?
No. Obviously not. Obviously, it must be due to a problem with the camera used to take the photographs.
With a photographic device?
Yes. We can confidently say that the camera's lens must be scratched.
It's more than a scratch.
And that the scratched lens causes unwanted lines to appear on every print taken with the device.
In short, the two photographs under consideration here were taken with the same camera.
But man needs to stop making weird noises. There must be hundreds of such camera devices here in the capital. It would be utterly impossible to identify the owner of this particular one. No?
I think you're forgetting Professor Ouchie. I mean, Prosecutor Ouchie. And one of the photographs featured in a newspaper article.
A newspaper. Ah,
That's right. The author of that article is the mystery witness to this crime. What?
I see why you were called a raucous England returnee.
what are you yelling about? You've already testified.
It's many memo, I tell you. Many memo. What? Me, mo. Are you okay?
Sasaki-san, what was that?
Oh.
Did you say many memo?
I thought it was weird and I looked it up and I sort of spoiled this. It's a thing that'll probably show up in like 2 minutes.
Okay.
Ever since I returned to Japan, a reporter from the Shoyu News has been hounding me, following my every move. Reporter by the name of Right Hand Many Memo. Yes, hounding me from dawn till dusk.
Ah, now that he mentions it.
I just saw his picture, that was all.
I see. Oh, I didn't.
Secretly spy, snapshots, little stories, and stuff of my privacy. You didn't what?
Sorry, I, I thought I heard something, and I was like, "Oh, did Tomo yawn and like squeak like really near me?" I'm like, "No, he's on the bed." And apparently, with me saying "I see," my phone thought it said I said its name. It was like, "Uh-huh," and I'm like, "No, go away." Could that same reporter be?
The camera to the left of him, and the book to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with him. You son of a bitch.
They did it.
There I am, stuck in the middle with Right and Many Memo. Now his name's easy to figure out.
It's just essentially like writing
Many memos.
many memos. Okay, I got the memo, but I was like, "We're many." I something about like writing in my memo, writing me a memo. Like no, writing many memos. Let's see.
I guess Ray's name might just be a name.
Probably. What's her last name again? Ray.
All I remember is it started with an M.
Membami.
And Mummy.
Membami might be something, but I don't know
Yeah.
what it'd be in regards to.
So you were saying that this picture was taken by... He was literally just here. By Many Memo, yes. My lord, your excellency, Esquire. Officer? Find this newspaper reporter at once and bring him to my courtroom. We'll adjourn for a short recess in the meantime.
Oh, yes, Your Excellency.
As you say, Your Excellency.
One more thing. On this knife, murder weapon, examine for traces of poison. You will solicit the assistance of the Imperial University's medical department for the task. Understood? Meh. Many memo. I don't know why he was freaking out about many memo, but
I don't know. Oh, it's a to be continued. I was like, oh, it's a to be continued here. Good saving point. Probably a good stopping point too.
potentially.
Yeah, it's 11:30.
Depending on how you're feeling and depending on whether or not we'll even find a good stopping point in an hour, hour and a half.
Right? Yeah, this is probably the best shot we have here. Plus it's I usually end around midnight-ish or so, and we're getting close there, so we're at a good point.
Yeah.
We're at a good point. There indeed. Okay, so I saved there. Let's see here real quick if anyone's online. Nobody that I know I think is online. Let's see. Let's see. Oh my gosh, the kids are shouting in the background. I don't know what they're even fighting about. Midnight, please be quiet, children. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. The problem is, I seem to be the only one that ever. Okay, aside from Arya sometimes, but I always seem to be the one that streams this late. Nobody I know is on. And when I go looking for people, I'm like, well, I don't know what to search, and do not know who to read out to. Let's see. Like dead quiet on this save screen. I didn't realize there's no music in the background. I'm like, oh, I'm thinking over here, and then suddenly I'm like, oh god, I'm just sitting here alone in my thoughts. Thanks, thanks for the OST, Soph. Oh goodness. Let's see. Oshio. Let's see here.
The name just keeps changing.
It does change.
On top of that, you even rescued me.
At some point, Ace Attorney, but they don't do voices. This is sad.
Yeah, if I would just come back and haunt you like a bad coast through Pearly. That's what I'm like. Not
a good decision to, what's the word? Read out to. We need someone who is just as enthused about going through the story.
It's tomorrow's Friday.
I think he's talking about the Genshin co-op stream day.
Oh.
Which I can promote here. If you guys like Genshin Impact, either play it, or even if you don't play it, it's a good opportunity to pick it up. I recommend it. We are going to be doing a Genshin co-op stream this coming Saturday. Starting at 5 p.m. Eastern time, whatever time that may be for you. We will be playing. I will be coming to your world and doing things and hanging out a little bit.
In your house.
Yeah, I will come straight to your house and play Genshin Impact with you. No, that's a lie. I will come straight to your Discord and talk to you through there, and we can play Genshin together. If you have your account, or if you're going to make one, be sure to make it within the America server, because that's the one that I'm in. So that way we can co-op together. I have to ask permission. You have to ask permission what?
If REA can let me come out and play.
Oh, I see, yes. You have to get permission to come out and play. But yeah, we're definitely gonna be doing that, and it's gonna be a fun time here. It looks like as far already put into the chat here real quick. But if you want to join my Discord, we're going to be hosting the voice chat through that. But even if you want to play and don't want to join the Discord and do voice chat, we can always chat in the Genshin in-game chat. So yeah, there is that, and screen's dimming out here. But yeah, we've got that coming up on Saturday. And I can't think what else to say about that. My brain's split right now. I can't multitask. I have to focus on one thing at a time here. I can't use my brain to think about talking about details and also search out someone who I want to raid to. No good. I have to see here. Let's see here. Oh, this person looks like they're further into Great Ace Eternity than us. Probably should not read to them.
No.
Well, maybe we just call it. Maybe we just call it here. Because I just obviously don't have enough people that I know that stream late into the night. I don't have many friends, apparently. Or late night friends. But yeah, we'll go ahead and just finish it off here for tonight, guys. So again, we have the Genshin co-op stream coming up this coming Saturday, which will be our next stream day. So you can check out, what's the word? You can check out the schedule for the week that's posted on Twitter, which Asfar has put in the chat there for y'all. It's the best way to keep up with me and what's going on for the week. And if there's any changes, that's where we'll be posting it. So pin tweet has the schedule for the week, shows what's going on. Also join the Discord if you want to. Come hang out with us. And also, if you want to participate in voice chat for this coming Saturday's Genshin stream, definitely do that there. Let's see. Talked about the schedule. Talked about Genshin co-op stream. We're not reading out. Yeah. Brain says let's just end it here. So, thank you everyone for coming to hang out tonight. I hope you guys had a good time. I did as well. I hope you did as well, Soph.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always fun doing Ace Attorney. Highlight of my week some days. Highlight of my week some days. That's a phrase. I don't know.
Mine kind of works. If you look forward to it on a day other than Thursday.
That is true, yes, indeed. But yeah, so thank you. Michia, why am I
Sophia and Michi?
Oh, okay. We've
a different kind of implication, but
we've Dragon Ball fused. But yeah, thank you everyone for coming to hang out. I appreciate you coming out, and this has been me, Michio, signing off. And I'll see you guys on Saturday. Bye guys.